Water is the key to life, and vital to the establishment of the federal capital at Canberra was a dependable source of water: the Cotter River.
Canberra wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Cotter. It was just a very attractive place for people, and it was a very, it's a favourite place. Almost every visitor, every dignitary who came to Canberra would be taken out to the Cotter.
The site for Canberra was being selected at the Federation drought, which until the current one was probably the most severe drought. So the idea of a need for a reliable water supply was right at the front of people's mind in those days, just like it is now.
The construction of the Cotter Dam took place between 1912 and 1916, though the planned height wasn't reached due to the interruption of the First World War.
The dam that they built was a very small dam. It was supposed to be more than double what they ended up building in height. And the low dam meant that it overflowed a lot. It's one of the most photographed things in Australia about Canberra, because this was, it's like they used to call it the Canberra's mini Niagara Falls.
The relatively low-level Cotter Dam site required that an electric pumping station be constructed to feed the water uphill to Canberra.
The first pumps were built here in 1918, or installed here in 1918, and the pump station has been added to every 10 years or so after that. So more pumps were added in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and finally in the 60s. And the pump station became obsolete in the late 60s because we built Bendora Dam, and Bendora Dam is higher than Stromlo Water Treatment Plant. So the water can flow by gravity from Bendora to Stromlo, and the pump station was no longer needed. People knew when the pumps came on or off because all the lights around Canberra dimmed, and I think at one stage there's a hearsay that a cat stepped on a relay or something out here, would trip one of the pumps out and put the power station off and stop Parliament during question time, some important question time, so it was all down to, no doubt it was a black cat something.
Canberra's growth over the years and thirst to establish a garden city demanded that the Cotter Dam wall be raised. This occurred between 1948 and 1951, which also meant additional pumps were required. In the 1960s, Canberra added Bendora and Corran dams further upstream in the Cotter catchment. The Cotter Dam was on standby for 37 years after serving Canberra from 1919 until 1967. The Cotter Precinct became Canberra's favourite recreational playground, especially during the hot summers. Locals and visitors would swim, picnic and enjoy the rugged natural environment around the Murrumbidgee and Cotter rivers.
I used to come out here when I was at university here with my family, and we'd come out and we'd sit down, and my grandmother was with us at that stage, and over on the other side of the Cotter Reserve there, we would bring her out and we'd have picnics here, and she'd put her feet in the stream and we'd all splash around in the stream and kick a ball around and play out here, and you did that many evenings right through the summer period.
It's always got very strong family connections, I think, for many Canberrans, and also not only through family but through recreational groups, through ethnic groups and other sort of small community subsets. I think it has a very valued place in the heart of a lot of Canberrans.
Dad might drop you out in the afternoon to find a barbecue spot and somewhere to boil a billy and drop you there, then he'd go back in and get the family, and then you'd all come out and spend the evening out here. It was really a great spot. Always has been, always been a terrific spot for Canberra.
On a nice sunny Sunday, it wasn't unusual to have 10,000 people out there. you think that Canberra was desolate even at that time. You know, the lake had only just been filled. There was very little planting around the lake, and a lot of people in Canberra had come from, you know, the capital cities where they had access to beaches. And I suppose what intrigued me was Casuarina Sands, which was along the Murrumbidgee, and there were just thousands of people there, you know, swimming. It was very difficult to get a park. And it was sort of, it reminded me of sort of inland parts of Europe, you know, in Russia.
The Cotter Dam was brought back into use after the Canberra bushfires in January 2003, and subsequently the pumping station went through a major refurbishment. The story of the Cotter is a fascinating part of Canberra's past, as it combines social history and the natural environment, along with early 20th century industrial innovation, all brought together to serve a new nation's administrative centre.